Right. So, hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I am elated to have you to interview you today.
Great.
I have been following you. Well, first of all, anybody who's in the sexual health, sexual education field knows who Michelle Hope is. She's like the person that we all like look up to. Yeah, you are like you're like the person that's like, oh, I want to get to that level.
Oh my God. Please first of all, don't make me cry. Second of all, I don't know what level this is. I just want to keep it real. Because, honey, where is the coin? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, I've been following her for a while, but you recently went viral on the internet because you were at the at the Table podcast. Is that a podcast or a show? Is it a podcast?
I've heard it's a podcast. It's a show. Listen.
Podcast show. Okay. You were at the Table podcast show, and you made these. You made a statement about sex and how Black culture refers to sex, and it got some mixed reviews from people. So first of all, remind us. Let's back up. So I didn't let you introduce yourself. So introduce yourself first, and then we'll get into eight at the table.
Okay. I mean, you was like, let's get in the hot stuff.
I told you. Go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Michelle Hope. I am a sexologist, right? So I've been doing this a long time. I, really love my work. I'm probably not as sexy as people think I would be, because I really look at the intersectionality of race and sexuality and how that implicates our experience in the world, right? Like for me, when it comes to social justice, sexuality is all throughout that, just like race is all throughout that. So I can teach you how to ride it hot to trot, but I'm really more interested in how it impacts our everyday life. Because like my saying is, from the womb to the toe, baby,
right?
Sexuality is a part of your everyday life. So that's kind of that. So at the table, I said so here's the thing. People took this out of context. I have my vulva puppet because I love a vulva puppet. Why are you trying to beat me up? I said that. And it was really about, what language are we using when we talk about sex? Mm-hmm. When we talk about sex acts in urban culture, because I heard other people be like, this isn't about Black people. This is about the whatever. It's like, do we not have other words in our lexicon to describe how we have sex? Okay, I'm pulling out the SAT words. Okay, and it kind of came to, people don't really have other words. They want to say beat it up, murdered the pussy. They want to say shoot up the club. And I just I was not trying to judge how we talk in the bedroom. Because, honey, I'm a choke me, spank me, pull my hair, okay? Right. But what I'm saying is, in general conversation, TV, film, movies, music, it's violent. Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend today, actually, and I was telling her, I said, up until probably, 30-ish, I assumed that sex was supposed to be rough.
Hello.
That was kind of my assumption, because that's how sex is described, in like I said, TV and music. The whole, like, I've heard men say plenty of times, "Oh, you running away from it," and instead of them trying to adjust or change positions, they still trying to ram it in, because the whole beat the pussy up thing is like this thing, when really it's like, you're hurting me. You're not supposed to be walking funny afterwards. That's not how that's supposed to be. But for a long time, I really didn't enjoy sex how I enjoy it now, because I thought it was supposed to feel that uncomfortable feeling you're supposed to feel. I thought that was normal.
Yeah, and that's that violent language that I was trying to connect people to say, like, hey, it's not really, if you like rough sex, you like rough sex, right? And then the interview kind of derailed because we got into BDSM and they were using language that I thought was just really inappropriate. And you could tell that there was a lack of understanding. But that goes back to the lack of quality sex education in the United States. And this is spaces that we can learn this are very limited, few and far between. And people still think, you know, porn is Little Fizz's penis just went viral and people was mad because it looked like a mushroom. It's like a lot of penises look like that. And some of you men's out there, or penis owners out there trying to talk about people, you know you not working with much either, okay? You are working with the tiny Twix bar, okay? But you want to be all in the DMs and all in the thing. Porn penis is not your average penis. So we're just, and I think there's this, it's all connected, but I don't think people really understand that.
And I made a post on Instagram yesterday that didn't kind of go over well with a lot of the women. And I was saying how, you know, we know men body shame. We know that to be a thing that they do, but we also penis shame. We penis shame.
We sure do.
And this week in particular, you know, we had Nelly that came out with the whole video, and there was this whole uproar about, oh, Nelly was small, this.
It looked that small to me.
It didn't look small to me. Nelly has husband penis, right? He has like a good average length, you know, good, nice girth. It didn't look that small to me. It looked very average. And most men, I feel, are average. You have a few who are, you know, slightly above average, and you have the, you know, the elephant trunks. But most of us are. I don't feel like most women, and I could be wrong because I haven't, you know, done a poll, but I don't feel like most women are having regular sex with like 10, 11 inches penis.
No, you're not. You are absolutely not. And here's another thing. I've been doing I was interested in a sex toy company that made a very large dildo. And then it was their best-selling dildo. And it is a company that, you know, predominantly it has a large African-American base, right? And I started doing research as to why women of color talk about wanting these big penises. And I found some really interesting information around diabetes and the lack of nerve feeling and how it can impact your sensation in your nerves. When you have diabetes, high blood pressure, you're overweight, or struggle in that space, right? And I just found it really interesting because you can lose sensation in the genital region, which I then kind of put 2 and 2 together and was like, and I would be really interested in seeing more research. I'm not gonna say that this is like, I know it all, or this was some deep social science research. I just started digging around and I got really interested in that, as well as things like endometriosis, fibroids, and how that can impact your pleasure. Because Black women struggle, fibroids, we struggle with endometriosis, PCOS, these are things. And let me tell you something, I swear to all things, if it was a white man who struggled with this, they would have a cure. But, you know, because it's us, they want to be like, we don't really know what it is or what causes it. So I just went off on a tangent there, but
that's good though. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I knew that people who have diabetes sometimes suffer from loss of sensation, like in your fingers and your feet.
Can also happen.
I did not know that.
I will try to find the article that I was reading because I was just like, you know, the little mouse. I was like, oh my gosh, why aren't we talking about this? Because I think that also plays into, you would most definitely want a bigger penis and more aggressive thrust style if you are someone who struggles with diabetes and you may be losing feeling in that, because it's all nerves. Remember, your clitoris is 8,000 nerves.
Right.
Girl, see, I just messed you up, didn't I?
I question. So where do you think like the whole sex and violence stems from? Like, how do you think that became a theme with us?
White supremacy. Come on, girl. What you talking about? The white man.
I gotta ask a question.
I'm not about to go, Mr. Umar Johnson over here and nothing, but I do want to tell all of your people to read Diane Stewart's book called Black Women, Black Love, and the America's Assault on African American Marriages.
Let me write that down. Hold on, you said it's called who?
Let me just it is called Black Women, Black Love, and Diane M. Stewart, Black Women, Black Love, America's War on African American Marriage. Now, I am going to give you a trigger warning.
Okay.
I put this on my Audible, okay? And I would love to, I think I might host a book club on this, but I put this on my Audible, and it has taken me probably not 6 months. I put it on my Audible at the end of the summer because the content of the book is so heavy and so depressing. I hate to break it to you, but it makes so much sense. So what this author does, it's part historical research project talking about kind of the experience of our enslaved ancestors and what they went through to try to the abuse. And I know all, like the history. Then it goes into like real data around the systemic ways that the African-American family was torn apart through, welfare laws, through, it's got stories from slaves, letters. It's got, girl, then it gives you like the hard fact, like, think about it like this. After slavery was over, right? Black women couldn't own property. So even if you were from a family of free people and somehow you had sharecropping money or you had land, your family had land, as soon as you got married, that land was no longer yours. That was your husband's. So we went into a whole different type of slavery through the institution of marriage. Then you top on that, girl, come on. You top on that the oppressive nature of how Black men were treated by society, and then who do they take that out on? The idea that the Black man is supposed to be the breadwinner, not only, puts him in a place where he thinks he's in power, but also dispowers him to understand what a partnership should be.
And there is, I was talking to one of my friends, he and I have these conversations quite regularly about the state of dating in Black people in my age group. And I saw this clip, it was from like 1950. Somebody had posted on Instagram, and it interviews these black people, Black men, Black women, and the man was talking about how the man is the head and women need to submit. And that was in 1950. And it's the same conversations that we are having in 2022.
Yep. But the problem with that is a patriarchal ideology, right? That stems from white Christian fundamentalism, right? And if you look back at our ancestors, we were matriarchal societies. We were kinfolk societies. The idea of the head of the household, it was a village that raised children. It was community. We were a communal area. Now, and girl, I ain't even started. What do we got? 1.3, 1.1 Black men at the, marrying age incarcerated right now. It also breaks it down. Like, I don't want to do no spoiler alerts, but it ain't looking good out here for us ladies. Like, it's Black men. It's not looking good. One statistic that really stood out to me was Black men who make 6 figures or more are 2.5 times less likely to get married across their lifespan than their white counterparts.
These are men?
What?
You said men, Black men?
Black men, yeah. Black men that make over 100,000 are 2.5 times less likely to get married across their lifespan than their white counterparts.
Why is that? Did she explain?
It doesn't, there's not enough data. There's not enough research. There's not enough data because it's about us. And then there was some other stats that talked about, you know, the difference between 75,000 and 100,000, and how the more money a Black man makes, less likely to get married, and will get married much later in life. So that's why we see a lot of Black women getting married post their prime of conceiving children.
That's interesting. That's interesting because here in Atlanta, you have a lot of men who are the 6-figure and up range, right? Yep. And I have friends who are in that range. And they're not married. Right. I always assume that this is my assumption when it comes to men. Men who have been single for a long period of time, I say it's either because they like being single, they like playing the field, they're not really trying to settle down, or something is seriously wrong with them that no one wants to be settled down with them. That's just my.
You want to know my theory?
Yes. What's your theory?
They mama's still taking care of them. See, we as Black women, we have to accept some responsibility for this.
Okay.
Because if you're still babying your baby and he's in his late 20s, his 30s, his 40s, girl, you done ruined him for the rest of us. Because we have to consider, if mom does everything,
okay,
and family does everything,
okay,
when does the man go to find his own family or build his own family if he still got his family taking care of him?
True, that's true. And then they want you to like come over and like completely just entrust them to like lead you. And that's a thing too. One of my friends, again, this is one of my friends, he in Atlanta, makes great money, has a whole business here, great money. And I was like, why have you not found a woman? Because if in Atlanta, if you're looking for a Black woman, they're all kinds of here. You can find any kind of Black woman you want. They're here in Atlanta. And he lives here and been here for years. And he was just like, you know, he can't find the type of woman he's looking for. And I call BS, because like there's something else that's amiss. Because it doesn't make sense. Because
go ahead. I'm sorry.
What you're looking for is not that unique. It's not that it's pretty easy to find.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. I have learned in my many years of dating that men, regardless of color, cis heteronormative men, they really don't want a boss babe. They say they want a boss babe. They don't, because what they want to do is they want to play Captain Save-A-Squash. Okay. You know, they want to save, they have a savior complex. And I think for Black men, even more, they have this savior complex because oftentimes, again, our society does not look at them as, you know, like we look at the great white hype, right? So if they can come in and be somebody's savior, whether they're the cable man or the president of Chase Bank, they want to, and I don't know about you, but let me tell you what I love about myself. All the things that annoy men, which is, you know, sucks for me. Yeah. I'm loud. Yeah. I'm mouthy.
Yes.
I'm independent.
Yes.
You know, I can drink most men under the table. Probably not the greatest thing, but still not like it's just, I'll be 40 this year. Mm-hmm. And I have had to move to a space of acceptance. That, you know, that bachelorette party may not happen for me. You know, it's definitely not, it's not going to happen the way I dreamed about it.
Yeah.
But
and that's true, because like the guys that I know that I've had a conversation with here, they're not really interested in the women like myself who are career driven. And that's a lot of women here. And they don't really want that type. They kind of want a type who's going to kind of just kind of go with whatever their program is.
Right. They want you to text them. They want you to be all, and then they want to be like, but you texting me too much. It's like, well, you know what? How about you call me? You know what? You call me when you have time.
When you want to talk, you call me.
Yeah. I'm if I have time, I'll pick up. And I've heard that from men. Oh, I texted you 3 days ago. And I have a job, actually multiple. And so until you start paying bills, which then we don't have it. And here's the thing, men, I totally understand that you want to be mothered because that's what it is. I get it.
I can't do it.
But and here's the beautiful thing. I also have men in my life who I love very much, who love me very much, right? Who give me things, when I say things, I don't mean tangible monetary things. They fill my spirit.
Okay.
They fill me with conversation, support, and they're platonic, and it doesn't always have to be about sex. And I have this amalgamation of a perfect man throughout a lot of various relationships in my life. And I'm trying to let go of how the patriarchy has taught me to believe that I need to have a ring on I do want one, but I need to have a ring on my finger, and that it needs to be dinner at 5. And, and I've dated people, and I've had a partner for a very long time, and we don't live in the same state. But I feel supported, and I feel loved, and I feel cared for. And, I don't talk about my relationships in my work because I honor and respect those things, which is interesting because a lot of people in our space choose to do that. And I'm more power to them, more power to them. But I sometimes think, because they tried it, I ate at the table, but I will not go into deep. Listen, don't nobody need to know. Wait till the book comes out. But I guess I'm saying all that to say, I think as Black women, we have to start reevaluating what we want. And I think we are, but we also can't shame anybody else or make them feel bad or.
Right. I think with the whole shaming thing, we know how it feels when men shame us. And so we shouldn't want someone else to feel that same way by shaming them. Because I've written about on Instagram or in other places about how I personally prefer like average penis. That's my preference.
Average penis isn't done though. Okay.
And I've had men like who would just inbox me like, thank you for saying this, blah, 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 blah. You make me feel validated. I have an average penis. Like, it's just really interesting.
Average penises unite. Like, they make it everything all right. I like average penis, and I don't need 18 hours of sex. No. 10, 15 minutes.
30 minutes, we good. Like, with foreplay.
But the actual penetration.
No, 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
No,
I don't need sex all night. I got things to do, and I
need sleep.
I don't have time to be doing this with you all day.
No,
but it was so. I guess it was so interesting to me to see how the men, like, they were just like grateful that I made a public statement about regular penis. And they felt validated because, we do, and I've done it. I've penis shamed before. And I sometimes do it like in group texts, and I've done it publicly. Like, I've done it. I'm not saying I haven't done it. But like we have men thinking that bigger equates to better, and it does not.
Did you see my post about solving for WAP? You got to go back and check it out.
Okay.
Because I don't know who this young man was, but he did the math, and the math was, the math wasn't mathing, because he was like, we got to do it. My penis size is 4 inches plus pumps per minute. And he was like, I give about 10 pumps per something. And then he was like, but you know, big penises, they're lazy. They only give him 4 pumps. So he did this whole math equation and he was like, I'm still outshining with my 4-inch penis because my pumps and my strokes is better.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? The math is a math, and give this man a freaking Pulitzer Prize. I don't think you get that for math, actually. Give this man.
Though. That's true though, because people, I have found in my own personal experiences that people with average-ish or smaller ones, they have to figure out how to make sex great. So they have to actually like figure this shit out, figure out their strokes, figure out what works, figure out how to please you, versus people with third legs just be like, okay, stick it in, that's it.
They're so lazy.
They are.
They just be like whappity whap, swinging and slapping. And I'm like, come on now. Because I done had some fun in my day. And I would like to say to people, let me just say this. Okay. Have fun while you can.
Yes.
Because you're going to get to it. Sex, I think people make assumptions, and I'm sure you probably experienced this. Because of what we do, they think we want sex all the time. And that
all the time.
No, we don't. We don't. And as you get older, what you're into becomes different. Yeah. What turns you on becomes different. You can have a high sex drive sometimes and then just be like, sex could be flying at pussies and dicks and all the options could be flying your way. And you'd be like,
I'm not interested.
I do not have the time for this. So I had a really good run for a really long. Listen. This little red car.
Time not long ago, I was a hoe. Okay, I've been around the block a time or two.
Yeah, come on now. This little red Corvette got miles on her, but these bucket seats still soft. Okay, just so you know.
So, what ways do you think that we, as a culture, can change how we describe sex?
We have to educate on it. Mm-hmm. And I love seeing all the people who are talking about sex in various platforms, podcasts, blogs, Instagram, Snapchat. I love that, right? Mm-hmm. But I think we need to take it a step further. And I think we need to come together and collectively start advocating for quality sex education in schools, right? Yeah. I think I know, and I try to always pull it back to that, because as adults, we have the opportunity to educate ourselves. Young people do not, and we're setting them up for failure all the time because we're not giving them. How do you change something? We can't change it in our culture as adults and not think the trickle down effect will take too long. So right. We need to actively say, okay, things in our culture have to change, but the only way we do that is through educating the next generation to be able to prevent the types of things that we're seeing. And quality sex education can be a social, it's a social game changer. We can disrupt and dismantle patriarchy. We can help to reduce systemic racism, because so many Black and brown people are sexualized through racist tropes that continue to proliferate through the conversations and through our culture. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's how we have to start moving. We have to come together and create equitable change through educating a younger generation. Because me and you trying to have this conversation, girl, you know what people was putting on my Twitter? They said, girl, I am done with our people. You need to pack up your pocket pussy and go to a community that will listen to you, because I am done. A Black woman said that to me.
Did I say that to you?
A Black woman said, girl, I have given up. These people do not want to learn. You might as well pack up your pussy and go to a community that wants to hear from you. And I felt it in my soul, because I've been working in our community. People don't understand, I got into this work for my community, right, only to be called transracial, Who is this passable white woman talking about a community she does not know about? And I mean, all the things, all.
Now, do you think the people at the table, they seem to be very young? They were like 20, early 20s-ish?
Yep.
Yeah, I gathered that from watching them. So do you think with them, it was just a young and ignorant thing? Because sometimes you're young, you don't really know a lot of things.
And hold on, no, I'm not gonna hold you. I don't think all those people were in their 20s. I'm almost positive they were not.
Oh, okay. I assume with some of the answers, I'm like, I'm gonna give it to y'all and say y'all young. So okay.
Nope. Some of them, a lot of them were in their 30s.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, girl, this is what I'm trying to tell you. So I think that, again, there's an element of being sensational and wanting to go viral and wanting to say, because child, I was not ready for that. I don't.
Your whole facial expression said it. Like, you was like, yeah.
That was an interview, and that's my fault. I probably should have, maybe I should have management, right? That checks these things out before I show up somewhere, because I was not prepared for that. Although I had a production call and made it very clear what I talk about, I showed up and it went a whole different direction. I'm not going to. I was grateful for the opportunity. It went viral and it got people talking, which I would love to continue these conversations with community and continue to help us see, because we gotta listen, abortion is about to go away. And I don't think people understand what really is going on. And I know, and I'm on a mission to get people to stop using this. It's a great day to be a Black woman. No, the shits it's not, when we are about to lose rights like this. Now, I wouldn't want to be nothing but a Black woman. And being a Black woman is being salt of the earth. But it's not a good day for us.
Correct.
It is not. So stop that shit. It'll be a good day where we have quality reproductive rights. That includes somebody addressing maternal mortality rates of Black women. What are we talking about here, people?
Listen, they don't want to have a conversation because we're Black. They don't really care.
But then why don't we? Well, where is the Black man? I don't know about y'all, but I done marched. I done took knees. I done protested. I done had my signs. I done went out on the front lines in 2020. And I spoke. I definitely got some death threats off some of those speeches and some like real nasty ones. Cause I was like, where in the shits is the Black man? I'm out here taking a knee for you. Where are you at? When I was working at the city, people don't know I have a real job, right? When I was working with New York City's health department and we saw, it was like a slow train wreck. We were watching these maternal mortality rates come out about 5 years ago. Why wasn't there no marches then? I'm saying, and you got mad at me for saying our language around sex is hurting our community. And then when I told you the data in an FBI study in the year 2020, 4 Black women or girls were murdered every single day. And Black women were out on the streets, marching, taking knees. Where the fuck are the Black men now when they're about to take our reproductive rights away? That's all I want to know. Kevin Samuels, where is your ass at?
Nowhere to be found because they're not concerned.
Girl, they out here making jokes on me, talking about transracial. Child, you just my blood pressure just went up a little bit. But I hope Black women know, honey, I'm gonna keep fighting. If there's a fight to be had over reproductive rights.
Anything that happens that where change takes place, Black women are that center of it. We are the people who get things done, and Black men come afterwards.
Yeah, and I just think, like, I know this is why I said I don't think a lot of people think I'm as sexy. I'm not as sexy as what people might want. That's like why people at 8 on the table wanted to argue with me, because all they wanted me to talk about was how to squirt, which, by the way, scientifically, not everybody can do that. Like, you know, the science is there, right? They want to know how much dick can a dick taker take. You know, I don't know. It's every vagina is different. And I was trying to talk about stuff like
real stuff.
Well, yeah, like, do we not see a connection between the language and the abuse? Like, somebody just sent me a female rapper. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
But in this rap, she talks about she wants to be Ray Rice. Girl, yes. Ray Rice, the football player who beat up his girlfriend.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yes, in the rap. I will send it to you right after this. And you're going to be like, are you kidding me?
So she wants to get beat up?
Yeah. Yeah, so my friend sent that to me, and this is a popular rapper, you'll see.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? The worst part about that is that rapper did not write that lyric. That was written by a man. And here this person is, because they want to be a star, repeating these type of rhymes to other Black women, which will teach. Here's the thing people don't understand. I was a teacher for like 12 years. The brain doesn't know the difference between what it's told and what is real. Yeah. So we start continuing with this music, continuing to repeat it, right? Thoughts, like words become thoughts, thoughts become actions, actions become habits, and habits become realities.
Yep.
I'm just saying, I'm jazzed. Let me hold on to my vulva puppet to try to.
So in order to change the language, we have to have language to switch out the bad for good. So instead of saying beating the pussy up, what can we say instead?
Ooh, I want you to eat the pussy up. How about that?
Okay.
Come on and eat it up. Eat that pussy up. We could say, there's a word I liked called valprehended. I found it in an article, and it's like to grab. I want you to thrust deeply in me. Okay. Like thrust it, honey. Thrust it. I want you to penetrate me deeply. Maybe we got to work on some, but the reason these feel so uncomfortable, I want you to caress, massage. I want my pussy lips to envelop it. Like I want my pussy lips to envelope your dick, right? Like why this sounds so strange to us is because we've never used this language.
Yeah.
So it feels funny. Mm-hmm. When I was working with young people and we would talk about consent. And I would be like, so how do you put on a condom? Because it's so funny. They give you instructions to put on a condom, but nowhere in there is consent. So I would always teach them, before you penetrate, you have to, reiterate, ask for consent again. Mm-hmm. And they would say, I would be like, okay, well, what you gonna say? And they'd be like, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, no. Now you're putting doubt in my mind. How about you ask, what position do you want to try first? Because now, not only are you getting consent, you are giving the power to your lover.
Yeah. And
you are centering, in a cisgendered heteronormative situation, you're centering female pleasure.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Come on. See, you got to teach the babies.
Yeah, I like that. And I do think, the 90s sex ed sucked. And I think that's why our generation, we're learning as we go. Yeah. Because, sex ed of the 90s wasn't, we talked about STDs and administration. And that's pretty much it. And even now, because I have a day job too, and I'm an HIV prevention specialist. So we talk about, in some parts of it, they had the whole abstinence thing, and that doesn't work.
No. And here's another thing. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, y'all got to get ready and get right. Do people know how much money the government spends in abstinence-only education? It's tens of millions of dollars a year. The government earmarks tens of millions of dollars a year for abstinence-only education, right? So what people need to do is they need to start getting involved and asking questions, because that money is wasted money, because it doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. You know it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. So I really want to encourage people, like, if we really want to create change, we have to be a part of the change. And I'm sure some of your audience are parents, okay? Y'all need to start asking your schools, what's the sex ed looking like over here? You need to identify, get on your school boards, get involved, okay? Because the book bans is one thing, critical race theory is another, but these are all being used by the same people to say, don't say gay. We can't say Florida now is no gay. This is crazy. And I don't think people, I am jazzed about this, and I probably look hella corny, but we are in a midterm election year. Shit is about to get really, really, really real. And I know I'm taking it back to like abortion, but the right is, and people are not aware of how voting rights and abortion are connected. People have no idea, they don't understand, like the filibuster problem. The reason some people don't want to see the filibuster go is because that has saved abortion in the past many, many, many times. But the right, they know what they're doing. They're pitting against two really big issues that impact Black and brown communities the most. Voting rights, reproductive rights.
Right.
And a lot of us, we over here, we get mad at the light-skinned lady with the vocal puppet instead of being like
getting mad at women. And I think a lot of people too, because I mean, I talk about it on my blog, the whole abortion thing and the laws, but I don't think it's outside of my world. Like, I know people in my world talk about it, but outside of our world, it's not being talked about. So I don't even know if people are aware, honestly.
But see, that's why I'm talking about it right now with you. And it's interesting because since I went viral, I've been asked to do a lot of podcasts, right? And of course, I oblige because it gives me a platform to say, wake up and pay attention to abortions. Because as soon as Mississippi goes, we got 18 states, I believe, that can go with the stroke of a pen. They ain't even got to go to court. And again, it's gonna impact our communities the most. I think not to be humorous, a lot of brothers out there, they done been saved by an abortion. They done dodged the bullets.
By an abortion.
Lots of them. Yeah. And a lot of them, you didn't even know you dodged a bullet. You did not even, like Rick Ross said, you ain't even know it.
Didn't even know it. Didn't even tell you. So y'all need to, help us out.
I come on, people, come, like, and again, we always want to go back to the church. We always want to be like, oh, that's a sin, and God, and this and that, and come on now. Who taught us this religion? And I love the Lord. Don't get it twisted. I love me some of the Lord, because won't she do it? She will.
And for America to be built on this Bible, the religion, America is one of the most corrupt countries there is. And
honey, it is the land of the free, but not too free. No. And a certain type of person.
Right. It's so hypocritical to one day, we supposed to be this Christian country, but then everything y'all do outside of that is not Christian based. So you got to pick a side.
But what the idea, the crazy part is, and again, I was raised Catholic. I was an altar girl. I was in the church, but the interesting part is, when you look at the Bible, right? The Bible was written by human hands.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And the text has not been updated, and we have not had a new book added to the text in, I don't know, a lot of years. Okay. So it doesn't actually make sense to the life we're living now. And literally, one of my fathers, a priest that I studied Bible study with as an adult, this is not from my childhood. I still be in the church reading and whatever. he made it very clear. He said, this text is not applicable to our lives right now. But going back to that Diane Stewart book, she does talk about how letters that theologists have debated on whether or not MLK's letters from Birmingham jail should be added as a new text, which talks about racism, right? And how there is a parallel to him and Paul. I mean, it's deep. You got to read this. I'm telling you, because
I'm going to download it on Audible as soon as we get off.
And you're going to be like, and you're going to call me and text me and be like, oh my gosh. But when you think about things like racism in America, and I'm only saying this because we're talking about abortion rights, we're talking about language around sexuality. This is all rooted in racism. All of it is the root to all of this is white supremacy and racism. The idea from the beginning, when Black people were enslaved, and there was a fascination with the Black penis. Then we were used we were bred to create free labor, so that to build a country. Okay, and then our reproductive rights have been crippled, not to mention the very foundation of gynecology. Dr. Sims, y'all can read about him. Regardless of what he did was ethical or unethical, totally unethical to me and most medical people. However, there's a lot of science there. I'm not going to get into it, but if you read any of his perspectives on Black women, he thought we were just trash. Okay, so that's problematic. But Black men were always seen as the beast, a sexual beast, a rapist, right? That means that the Black woman can never be raped or abused because she is the counterpart to the rapist, the beast. I just don't, and yet now here we are, we have not worked out our own internalized racism issues, and we're just spewing out the white man's hate for us on each other in an effort to claw our way to the top of what? Of what? Capitalism?
Yeah.
I know people are like, she is crazy. But this stuff gets me a little hot in the pants. You know what I'm saying?
No. I love it because I've learned so much in this hour.
Oh, I'm really grateful. I hope it wasn't too much for everybody.
Yeah. You're good. You're good.
I'm so thankful that you wanted to introduce me to your community, and I hope that people keep an eye out for me. It's looking like I'm probably going to be stepping into the podcast space. Not sure if anybody will want to listen, but maybe.
I thought you already had a podcast. No, you were doing something on
Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And I want to compliment you, Ashley, because to do this is really hard work. And so I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do, because you're really providing information and opportunity for people like me to get information out there, and then for the people that listen in to you to learn things. So we are forever grateful. So, I look up to you.
Oh, girl. Well, thank you. So let everyone know where they can find you, and if you have anything, new projects going on, anything like that.
Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. You can always follow me on MH Sexpert, at MH Sexpert, Michelle Hope Sexpert. That's one thing. Hold on. I have to just make sure I say it right. Okay, then the other thing that you can do, it's not really for me, I don't make any money off of it or anything. I need you to get involved, and I need you to look up the Real Education and Access for Healthy Youth Act that was introduced by Cory Booker. It is a bill that would help us get closer to a sex education, a quality sex education for young people.
Okay.
I would also advise you to follow SIECUS, SIECUS, SIECUS Sex Education It's a SEEKIS Sex Ed for Social Change. Follow them on social media. We will be putting out some things. That's where I work. But I need y'all to get involved. We cannot do this work without you. We need you very badly. We need you to ask. You guys got to get in the fight.
They really do. I'm looking up SEEKIS now. Okay, cool. Follow back.
Yes. So, and keep an eye out for me. I probably got a few tricky tricks up my sleeve. And, I'm out here trying to do the work for all of us.
You are doing the Lord's work, and we are appreciative of it, and we're thankful for you. And I'm glad you came and had our conversation today.
Yeah, I'm gonna come down to Atlanta, and we should throw a brunch.
We should just say when.
We should say you know what? Say less. We're gonna do it. We're gonna bring a brunch to the springtime. Maybe in May or something. I think we should. I think we could throw that. I'm almost positive we could throw that together.
Just let me know when. I'm here in Atlanta. Let me know.
Yes, Lord. That's what I'm talking about. I'm coming to Atlanta. I'm gonna come on down there.